Hi, this is Ron Martinez of Aerbook, and I'm going to show you how to make a book using Aerbook Maker. So here I've signed into my account, and I come right to the dashboard here. Got a number of books already built. To build a new title, a project, which could be an app or an ebook, you hit the New Project button and enter the title and the author, number of presets that you have for dimensions, either landscape or portrait. There's a fun Instagram size here. It's 612 by 612 pixels, exactly the size for an Instagram image that you can get from your account. You can also enter custom dimensions, height and width. Here I'll just maybe make an iPad portrait size, and I hit create, and that title is now created. And you have a the first blank page loaded into the editor and ready to go. The quick way to start building books is to focus on these and use these colorful icons here. We call them cufflinks. But the first one here is a text icon. You hit that to add text. You can add an image, audio. You can save the current page layout as a template for use in other pages later on. And this is an advanced feature for adding HTML boxes that's not generally available. And you can also set the background color, the page color, using this rainbow icon. Here there's more palette choices up here. I kind of like that one. So why don't we just use that and set that up. Grid is if you would like to actually snap to a grid. You can set the dimensions and so on for more precision control over the placement of your page items. I'm not going to really use that right now, just for simplicity's sake. And I ask in advance that real book designers in the audience forgive me in advance for what I'm about to create. But it should look pretty good. So the first thing we want to do here is add an image. So I hit the image icon. Actually, let me zoom in here a little bit further so you can see what's happening there. And there are a number of ways to add an image. You can select a file from your hard drive. If you've already uploaded images, then you can select that here and then add it to the current page. Load an image from a URL. You can also drag from another web page if you're using Safari. From another web page onto this page, and the image will be added to the project. Typically, what I do is I grab something from my hard drive and drag it up there. So here I'm going to start with the cover page, and so I drag that from the file system, from the Finder, in fact, directly onto the page, and it begins to upload directly. And so what's happening with the book is you're really creating kind of an abstract version of your book, and it's stored in the Aerbook cloud, and it's all the instructions and content for building pages and sequencing those pages, and then the different formats you might want to render using that are available on demand, including iBooks and Kindle's KF8 graphical book format, which has now been rolled out across the ecosystem, including on the Kindle iOS app, which is pretty exciting, and also as app projects for iOS, Kindle Fire, Nook, various Android tablets. For now, let's just move along and build some pages. So here's my title page. This will be on the first right-facing page of the book. There are sort of precision controls for setting width and height, and the X, which is horizontal coordinate, or Y, how far down the page it is. You can rotate it or change its opacity if you want it to be less prominent, or overlay a few images. But for now, just keep it simple. We have this page, and that page is actually done. So let's add another page. And I think what we'll do is add a blank page, and we'll turn this into a template for the left facing page, which contains the illustration title and description. It's actually some verse. So I'm going to change the background color again, and there we go. And let's add a text box. So here I hit let me make it a little bit larger. There's a new text area, starting text. I can paste some text in, or add it once I've created the box. You can choose black on white, white on black, either one of those depending upon the color of the background. White on black is handy when you have a particularly dark background. You'll see that the page item has now been added to the page. As I move it around, its coordinates and change, and its settings change. But what we want to do is kind of position this and style it a little bit and add some starting text so that we can build a template. And so I have the first batch of text to go here. And I can double click inside the text box or hit edit, and now I can edit inside that box. I use Command Option Shift V, so I'm pasting it in without any formatting. It picks up actually the formatting of the destination. People who sometimes call paste special. This one is already preset to use. Let me save that. Then I can style it. I can also style within it. If I've selected, I can make things bold or not, italic and what have you. But I just want to style the whole box of text. By the way, if you click off, it's no longer selected, then the settings for that item disappear. Click on, they do appear. Let's change the size maybe to 36. The fonts, so you can see that a little bit better. Let me zoom in. There's some preset fonts that are available. If you have a TTF font and you have the rights to it, you can upload it here. There's a lot of great fonts on Google Web Fonts. You can search and find that. Make sure that the rights are support your use in ebooks, of the font in ebooks. I'm going to go with Ugly Qua because I think it's a pretty cool font. And might make sense to center this. I don't know. Let's go with center for now. And that is pretty much, you can set line height and so on. I think in this case it might make sense to set line height because it is a children's book and it gets a little bit easier to read that way. I think it's a little bit too much. Without fumphing around too much, let's settle on that. So now I have the verse that goes along with the next image to appear. What we also want here, let's duplicate this because we already have a size and a font that we like. Oops, let's just grab that. Get rid of the text that's in there and type in all caps, basement, which is the first of the illustrations that we're going to show. And we'll just put that right there. And it might make sense to make it a little bit bigger. So there we go. There's the basement. Now, so forgive my design sense, but that's pretty reasonable right there for our purposes. So once we have this set up, we can hit the yellow template button and save this as a template. And so this is the left text page. Save that as a template, and then we can use it later to add other pages with the same layout and items and styling. Now let's add another page with an illustration. Why don't we just duplicate this because we have the page color. And we don't need this, so we can select it and then delete that and delete that. And let's add the first image. This would be the basement image, and it's right here, and I drag that on and it will be added to the project. Now this particular book has, I guess, 22 pages, and the pattern is pretty simple. The left side page has the title and the verses for the illustration, and then the right facing page has an illustration. So there's the first one. I think it's a really great book, published in 1913 actually. So to make it a little bit more stylish, we have a frame or border settings. I'm going to select a solid border, make it about 12 pixels, choose a light color, maybe white, or maybe something a little off-white, so it has a little bit warmer appearance. And it would be nice to have round corners here, maybe. Set that at 4. You can see that corner became rounded there. By the way, you can get fancier with your border settings. You can set here, same things, the style of the border, which includes dotted, dash, double, and so on, the width, the radius, and what have you, or you can set individual sides. So that's a great way to create sort of vertical rules or horizontal rules, just using an empty text box, for example, a little trick. But for now, we'll just use that. And actually, I think that's pretty good. I think we just need to sort of position it properly, and that page is done. So this is going to be the template for our illustration pages. So let me just save that as a template, and now we're ready to just kind of rock through and add pages and finish this book up. I do have audio for this book, and I'll add that at a later point and show you how that's done. For now, let me just add another page. There's the left text page. Insert that. This is not the basement anymore, it's the first flat. So let's make that first flat and save it. And then here's the text for that illustration. So we'll go down here and paste that in, and that page is done. Let's go to another page, and I won't go through all of them, but I'll do one more here. Let's do another illustration. Insert the page, and what I can do here is, rather than drag an image up, I can change this image, and that allows me to keep the positioning and the styling and so on that I've already set up for this illustration. So I'm just going to select a file and get over there, and that'll give me the selection box, and that would be first flat. Open that up, and so that's now being added to the project, and it'll replace the current image. So this is why templates are really useful, because you can obviously set up the layout and the styling and then replace the content, pretty readily, and build your book quickly. It's not a marathon, but if you want, you can make books pretty quick. So there we go. I believe here I've got some settings for the book, which are probably worth taking a look at. Title and so on. I can add subject keywords and so on. This is metadata, very useful in publishing, publication date. Also, I can set this book to be public, and I'll show you what that means in a second. And because you can publish to the web, and you can select which of the pages you want to be visible when you do that. So you can create samples or sections for people to comment on and so on while you're building your book, or samples that they can comment on and share on Facebook and Twitter and so on, ISBN and so on. Let's just save that, and let's see how the book looks. So if we hit review, actually let me just show you at the top here, that was the book settings. You can get back to the dash there. We can begin to export. Everything I do here, if I move something 3 pixels, that's automatically saved up to the server to that abstract Airbook version of your title. You can also undo things that you've done. You can add tasks here if you like. It's like double check if this is the correct image or not, or make that a little bit richer, more saturated. You can always get help right here. But for now, let's hit review, and what this will do is show a non-public version of the book to you in another page in your browser without the editing controls. So here's the book, and you're beginning to see what the book will look like. You just click on any of these if you like. If you make changes, you can always hit these page icons again, or just advance from page to page and see what your book looks like, or hit the backboard on either side and we'll advance from page to page, and we can begin to see we got a pretty cool picture book put together here. And it looks good, so it's time to export it. So I hit export, and export again is bring a format of the book for either publication or for sharing, for sale, what have you. So the model is you use credits. I have an ungodly amount of credits because I have my hands on the controls and I can do that. But generally speaking, we made the credits really affordable. You can always generate a draft version of a book. You don't have to expend a credit. Draft versions are watermarked, but or purchase credits and create retail-ready versions of your books. These are the different formats. You can publish to the web in an HTML5 reader, very similar to the review, but it also contains social sharing mechanisms. To do that, you just hit that button, and it uses a credit, but it will host it for you for a year, and that's renewable. But now that's ready to go, and there's the link to see that. We're also supporting, coming out of the gate, iBooks fixed layout format. I can generate a draft version here, and it's done that. So if you've ever sort of hand-coded any of these books, you know that there's a lot that goes into making these work in a way that they can be sold in the iBook store. That's here. That was pressing that button. Same thing for Kindle KF8. As I mentioned, we're very excited about this format because it's because of the reach of Amazon. They're supporting picture books is really terrific. There's a draft version of that. Seeing those is a little bit tricky right now. If you have a Kindle Fire, you can download it and sideload it into your Kindle Fire, and it will show the picture books fine. You can't sideload them into the other, like say the iOS app or the cloud reader because of a limitation that Amazon has imposed on that. I'm not sure if they consciously imposed it or what, but suffice to say that you can't sideload, but you can certainly look at your title in Fire or in the web preview. You can also generate a project for the Corona SDK to make, particularly where you have interactivity and animation and audio and media and so on. You can generate a Corona SDK app project that's very easy to use to build projects. To remove a watermark, you press that button, and whenever you make changes, the version of your book that is available, you can update it. So you generate the full. Here, in fact, for iBooks, you do need a sample book in order to sell on the iBook store. So we will generate 10% of your titles pages as a sample, ready to go for the iBook store, or with a sort of low end of 3 pages and a max of 10 pages. So if you have a very short book, it's not going to publish all of it as a sample. And once that's done, and the same thing here, we can remove the watermark, and so the branding and some of the internals which have been modified are then set up for retail. So this is ready to go. I can download here. One cool thing to do is sort of right-click here, copy this link, mail it to yourself or to a friend or to a client if you're building it for a client. And if they open up that link in their iPad, it will download and install directly to iBooks on their iPad. And the same thing for KF8. And so there comes a KF8 version. I will post this book somewhere and probably put in the comments where you can just download what I just created. The web version is fun and supports the social discovery of your title, even during the creation of it. So if you were, for example, building a book and you wanted the opinions of potential readers or your friends or anybody else, you can make this public. And so here's this book, and it's very similar to the review version, but here you can also do Facebook comments. And so I can make some comments here. You can just zoom in a little bit, and well, actually, let's keep it all inside the screen capture here. But if I add a comment here, I love this book. My friends on Facebook are used to seeing these kind of comments. Then that gets posted to Facebook, and there's a link in my stream. My friends see it, they can click, come back here, they can also comment, or you can go ahead and share using Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, what have you. So this is a great way for you to begin getting the word out about your title. So that's it for now, and that is the Rocketbook. And you know, another hour or so, this book would be ready for sale. All right, thank you very much.